Okay, we'll do language of chemistry. Now you already have done in class 8. Especially you should know about valencies and how to write formulas by crisscross method, and also how to balance an equation. But in chemistry balancing equation is very important, because when you write an answer and if the equation is unbalanced, then you get no marks, because an unbalanced equation is meaningless. Because when we balance the equation, the total mass of the left hand side is always equal to the total mass of the right hand side. That is, matter cannot be created nor be destroyed, but can be transferred from one form to another form. So that's the laws of chemical combination that we'll explain later. So first thing you should do always, that you should learn the valency properly, the positive valency and the negative valencies. And then you should also learn how to write the formulas crisscross method. I hope you all know it. But again, I am just explaining you balancing because it's very important, and I'll show you a very shortcut method of balancing. Now for that you have to know this order of balancing. Now order of balancing means that first it will be metal, and then non-metals, then hydrogen, then oxygen, and at last nitrogen. So this should be our preferential order of balancing. So that means when we balance an equation, we should first try to balance the metals. After balancing the metals, then we go to non-metals. Means non-metals means other than hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, because these three are also non-metals, but leaving these three, there are other non-metals like carbon, sulfur, phosphorus. All these are non-metals. So first we will balance metals, and then we will balance the non-metals, and then we will balance hydrogen, and then we will balance oxygen, and at last we will balance nitrogen. Now this is the preferential order, but balancing means you have to sometimes do some adjustment. So sometimes after balancing also you have to rub it and then change the number again. So that have to be done. So that's your common sense. When you practice, you can understand. Okay, so let's see. I have just taken 3 equations, and generally these 2 equations are big equation also. So but simply we can balance little bit, we can use our logic, and then we should always prefer this order of balancing. Now the first equation, this is lead monoxide plus ammonia gives you lead, water and nitrogen. So first we should try to balance the metals. Metals, you have done activity series in chemical combination. So in those activity series, all the name of the metals are given. So you should know what are metals, and leaving those metals, all the other elements are non-metals. So here lead is a metal. So you see lead is balanced here, one lead here and one lead here. So it is already balanced. After lead we should go for non-metals other than this three, right? But you can see here only nitrogen, hydrogen and oxygen is left. So there is no other non-metals. So then we will go for hydrogen balancing. Now if you see hydrogen, you have 3 and here you have 2. So when you have these 2 prime numbers 3 and 2, then you multiply them to 2. So that means 6. 3 into 2, 6. So you try to make 6 hydrogen in both sides. Okay. So what should I do? I should multiply with 2 here. So it becomes 2 into 3, 6. I should multiply with 3 here. 3 into 2, 6. So hydrogen is balanced. And after hydrogen, whose turn? That's oxygen. Now you can see oxygen, you have 3 oxygen, and here you have 1 oxygen. So I'll put here 3. But another problem we have now, not a problem, now 3 oxygen means now I have to balance lead also. So now I have to come back to lead. Now I will balance lead, and you can see at last what is left? Nitrogen. So nitrogen, you have 2 nitrogen here and you have 2 nitrogen here, and I think it's already balanced now. Now you check it, there is 3 lead, 3 Pb, we have 3 Pb, you have 3 oxygen, you have 3 oxygen, you have 2 nitrogen, you have 2 nitrogen, and you have 6 hydrogen, and you have 6 hydrogen. So this is balanced. Okay, let's see the second example. Again, in second example, you have manganese and manganese, these are metals. So manganese and manganese, it is metal, already balanced. Then after metal, it is non-metal. So you have which non-metal here? Chlorine. You can see chlorine is there. Here you have 1 chlorine, but here you have 2, and here you have 2. How much? 4 chlorine. So that means I will put here 4. I will put here 4. Now chlorine is balanced. After that, hydrogen comes. So hydrogen is 4 hydrogen, and here you have 2 hydrogen. So I can put here 2. And remember, while balancing, I think you should know, we should always put the number in front, not in the between of any elements. Even for balancing oxygen also, I am putting 2 here. So you have to understand. So 4 hydrogen. So you have 4 hydrogen. So hydrogen is balanced. After that, it is oxygen. This is oxygen O2, and you can see it is O2 oxygen. So I think it is already balanced, right? So you have manganese 1 and manganese 1. You have oxygen 2 and you have oxygen 2. You have hydrogen 4, and you have here hydrogen 4, and you have chlorine 4 and 2 chlorine and 2 chlorine, that is 4. Okay. Now here you have 2 metals, one potassium and manganese. So now I know I have to start with metal. Now which metal to start? Now when you have this confusion, then you always start with the element having the higher frequency. Higher frequency means which occurs most number of time. Now for which occurs most number of time means combining the left hand side and right hand side together. So here you have 1 potassium, here you have 1 potassium. So the frequency of potassium is 2. Here you have 1 manganese and here you have also 1 manganese. So frequency of manganese is also 2. So there is no problem, you can start with anybody. But suppose out of potassium and manganese, if the frequency of potassium is more than manganese, then we will start with potassium. Right? So here we can start with 1 potassium, it is balanced. Then manganese and manganese, here also it is balanced. And then we'll go for chlorine. Now chlorine, you can see you have 2 chlorine, 2 and 2, you have 4, and you have here 5. But if I put 5 here, you can understand, if I put 5 here, now we have to balance hydrogen also. Now hydrogen, you can't put fraction in balancing. So you require 5 hydrogen. So for the time being, you leave this and then think of another element. Say hydrogen and chlorine, you have some confusion. So now go for next element. Next element, you first will see what happens. You have 4 oxygen. So you have 1 oxygen. So you put 4 here. Right? Now what you get? You got 8 hydrogen now. Right? Now you can put 8 hydrogen because I can convert that chlorine into 8. So I got 8 hydrogen. Now what you got? Chlorine, how much? 8 chlorine. Now you have 2 here, 2 and 2, 4 here, 2 and 2 chlorine, and you have how much? 1 here. So 2 and 2, 4, and you require how much? 8 chlorine. Now if I put 8 chlorine, 8 here, sorry, if I require 8 chlorine, so 2 chlorine here, 2, 4, if I put 4 here, right? So now you can see chlorine becomes 8, chlorine 2 and 2, 4, and 4 plus 4, 8. But again you have a problem, what? Potassium. Now potassium become 4, okay, put potassium 4. Now when you put potassium 4, manganese also become 4. So put manganese 4. Now again everything changed. So calculate again. Now at present what you have? 4 potassium, you have 4 manganese, you have oxygen, you can see how much oxygen you are getting, how much? 16. So naturally I have to put here 16 oxygen, right? And then hydrogen becomes 32. No, there is some mistake, I think. Let's see again. Must be 4. 69. Let's see again. So potassium 1, manganese 1, oxygen 4, hydrogen 8, chlorine is also 8. So yes, so sorry, I can put 2 here because 2 potassium, 2 manganese. No, so if I put 2 and if I put 2 here, now what I get? Now we can adjust. You got 2 potassium, then 2 manganese and 2 manganese, 8 chlorine. You have how much chlorine here? 2 into 2, 4, and 4 plus 2, 6, and 6 plus 2, 8. But you have 4, 8, 8. But you have 8 oxygen. So you put here 8, right? And then after putting 8 oxygen, again hydrogen becomes 16. So you put here 16. Okay, and then 16 chlorine you got. Now you can adjust that chlorine, I think 2. You have 4 chlorine here, 4 plus 2, 6, and now you can put 5 here. Understand? Okay, next is we'll learn how to find the relative molecular masses of compounds. Not only compounds, elements also we can find. Now relative molecular mass means, it is the number of times that the one atom of a certain element is heavier than 1/12 of carbon atom. Because carbon, the relative atomic mass, molecular mass, in fact, relative molecular mass of carbon, we take 12 AMU. 12. And any element, suppose you have oxygen, the atomic mass is 16. That means this oxygen, one atom of oxygen is 16 times heavier than 1/12 of carbon atom, of a carbon atom. 1/12 part of a carbon atom. That means if I divide that carbon atom into 1/12, then what happens? It becomes what? 1 AMU, is it not? Because the whole atom of carbon is how much? 12 AMU. So 1/12 of carbon atom means 1 AMU. And that means if oxygen is 16 AMU, so you can understand that this oxygen is 16 times of this much. So therefore, so definition you will get from the book. Relative molecular mass of a substance, it is the number of times an element is heavier than 1/12 the mass of a carbon atom. But here we will, and the unit of relative atomic mass we generally write AMU, that's atomic mass unit. Now generally the molecular weight means the atomic weight will be given, atomic weight of the elements will be given. You don't have to learn them, and then they will ask you to find the relative molecular mass. Now for example, say suppose find the relative molecular mass. So if I say oxygen, if I say hydrogen, then water, then we can take calcium carbonate. So that means it can be element, it can be compound. If you say ammonium sulfate, like this, and they will give you the atomic weight. Now oxygen is in 16, hydrogen is 1, calcium is 40, the molecular weight in fact, all these are. Then carbon is 12, sulfur is 32, and what is left? Nitrogen. Nitrogen is 14. Okay, and anything left? No. So all this will be given to you. Okay. Okay, so all these masses will be given, atomic mass, and then we have to find the relative molecular mass. Say number 1. Now RMM of O2. Now RMM of O2 will be 2 into 16 AMU. That is 32. RMM of hydrogen, H2 means it is 2 into 1 AMU, that is 2. Then RMM of H2O, now always when you find the RMM of an element, between every element you should plus. Okay, so first element is hydrogen. How many hydrogen? 2. So I should write 2 into 1. Then after hydrogen, as you switch to oxygen, you give a plus. And then oxygen is how much? 16 AMU. How much you get? 16 plus 2, and that is 18 AMU. And then calcium carbonate, RMM of CaCO3. So calcium how much? It is 40 plus carbon is 12 plus oxygen is 3. You can see O3. So you'll write 3 into 16. 3 into 16. Okay. So how much you got? 40 plus 12. 52 plus 48 AMU, and that is 100 AMU. Okay, and similarly the last one, NH4 whole 2SO4, number 5, RMM of NH4 whole 2 SO4. Now see here in the bracket, whole 2 means all this into 2. So NH4 whole 2 means first you write 2 and then you give a bracket, and inside bracket you have NH4. So get NH4. N means how much? 14. Again from N to H you give a plus. 4 hydrogen means 4 into 1 and then bracket close. Again give a plus because you are switching to sulfur. Sulfur is 32. Sulfur yes written 32 and plus 4 into 16. Okay, so you should always use the brackets properly in proper place, and outside bracket if you have this into or into 3, then you should write like this, 2 into that bracket. And then you know Bodmer's rule, you should follow the Bodmer's rule. First you complete the bracket here, you have 2 and then 14 plus this is 4, 18 plus 32 plus 16 into 4. Okay, so you got 32, 40, 50, 2 into that's 32, 40, 50 and 50 plus that means 114, right? 114, and then you are getting how much? 228. 228 AMU. Okay, so this is how we get relative molecular mass. Okay. Okay, next we will do percentage composition. Now percentage composition means how much percent an element is present in a particular compound. Okay. In medicine also, when you buy a medicine, you see sometimes a percentage are written, the composition, ki this is this much percent, this is this much percent. So that's the meaning of percentage composition. Okay, so find the percentage composition. Okay, they can ask you anything, but I'm just giving you one like find the percentage composition of say phosphorus in Ca3PO4, that's calcium phosphate CO3PO4 whole twice. So they told find the percentage composition of phosphorus. Now what you will do, first you will find the RMM of the whole compound. So first I will find relative molecular mass of Ca3PO4 whole twice. Okay, now Ca is 40, phosphorus is 31, oxygen is 16. Okay, so first find the RMM of full. Now you can see calcium 3 means 3 into 40, then I told you give a plus, then you can see there is a bracket and outside bracket there is a 2. What should I do? I will write 2 here and the bracket, and then inside phosphorus is 31 plus 4 into 16, right? So you got how much? 40 into 3, 120, and then 2, you got 31, you got 64, you get 120 and 2, 60, 70, 80, 90, that's 95, you get 120 and 190. So how much? 190 and then 290 and 310, right? 310 AMU. Okay, and then we will find RMM of phosphorus. RMM of phosphorus in calcium phosphate. Now you can see phosphorus is 31 into 2, because when you have 2 it's for everybody. So how much phosphorus is there? Phosphorus inside, okay, 1 phosphorus inside, but since it is whole twice, so the RMM of phosphorus is 2 into 31. So I'll write 2 into 31 and that is 62. Okay, and then we'll find percentage. Percentage of phosphorus. So percentage of phosphorus will be, phosphorus is how much? 62 out of how much? 310 into 100. I hope you know how to calculate percentage. And then cancel, and 31 into 2, and you can see you are getting 20. Here you got 20%, but generally you get your answer in decimal. So you should put your answer at least correct, means correct to 1 decimal place will be okay. Okay, understand? So this is how we get percentage composition. Okay.